It doesn't look like there's any substitutes warming up at the moment, and it doesn't look like they're replacing the crossbar either. And they might need to. I'd be surprised if there's not a crack in that. That was some strike. You'd have been proud of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it just set up perfectly for him. He was loitering on the edge of the box, just holds his run, and then he just comes onto it, meets the ball. As the ball's coming to you, you get so much power like that, Jake, and, well, you can see it didn't cross the line at all, didn't even touch the line, but it was close, and he hit it really, really well. Couldn't have struck it any better. There was a little bit of a hand there, Jake. I think the last touch was an arm, but not many appeals apart from...
How good does it feel, Paul, when you hit a ball like that?
It feels better if it goes in.
Yeah.
But no, a hell of a strike when it just unfortunately it didn't quite bounce off the bar.
All right, look, in the build-up we spoke about the midfield play of Manchester United and the link-up between certain players. These two superstars very much involved this evening. What have you made of the Manchester United midfield?
I think they've been all right, just all right, really. They've shown glimpses of link-up play, especially Pogba, Mata and Ibrahimovic. I think they look really good at times. I think they just need the runners. You know, them three are linking really well, and the final ball just hasn't, the final little bit of quality just hasn't been there, really. Nice bit of play here again, and this is when you want Rashford running, this is when you want Jesse Lingard running. These three are you know, we're building the play up really well. It ends up with a shot, and there's been some really good players, just the final bit is missing for now.
I think that's what you've got. I think you've got these three players that actually look for each other to feet, and then you're looking for Lingard and Rashford to use their pace in behind. But you see, you know, that relationship that we started seeing signs of between Ibrahimovic and Pogba at the weekend against Leicester, they really do look for each other a lot. I thought, well, that was... I've seen Paul Scholes arriving in that position. You've always got to swallow your neck in certain ways.
Swallow your neck?
Yeah,
it's a great chance.
That's a Michael Owen classic.
Yeah, I know what it means. Just bring your head back and just try and get a little touch, the smallest of touches it needs, and it's in the...
You almost create a double chin with yourself. You've got to almost... back a little bit, but it's it was a chance, that was. I thought he could have just glanced it in.
I need no help.
Do you know what I mean? Like
double chin. I know exactly what you mean. I do. All right, look, Ian Darke said during commentary, are the Manchester United players up for this competition enough? Absolutely can't say that about the manager. This is before kickoff, and Jose actually came out with a sort of thunderous look on his face, and then there's Paul Pogba having a chat to one of the officials working for the club, and for whatever reason, Jose absolutely furious, and he will know that there's cameras all over him at this point. It's almost like a sort of a display from him.
Little statement, isn't it? But these books are just full of set pieces, Jake. There's nothing, no patterns of play or anything in these. These are purely set pieces. So he's obviously not happy about something. He starts counting, I think, in a minute. So I'm not sure whether it's numbers in walls or anything else like that. But he starts making a march now, doesn't he?
Yeah, you have to wonder what's happened really, because this is something that should be sorted out before the game. At least an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, you go through your set piece and everybody knows the job before they go out, and for some reason we're not too sure what's happened there.
No, Giovanni Serra gets himself a thick ear for his troubles, doesn't he? And he will be very frustrated, I think, with that first half performance. Little glimpses of things improving, but still not enough.
Yeah, it's a nearly game so far, isn't it? Yeah. They're just not quite. Obviously Rashford's chance was probably the best one, but that was about it in the half.
OK, well, Zorya are the 100th club man. That man who's now scored in European competition with 7 different clubs. Zlatan Ibrahimovic with the goal this evening. The night started with assistants Rui Faria and Giovanni Serra getting a piece of the manager's mind. And Jose remained a picture of frustration throughout the 90 minutes, didn't he? But I'm sure now, as he signs autograph, for the young fans crowded by the tunnel, that's a lovely shot. There will be a sense of relief from the Manchester United manager, because it wasn't perfect, but they get the 3 points. And we're back here in 3 weeks' time, because they're up and running in the Europa League, and up next for them the challenge is Fenerbahce. You can see our coverage on Thursday the 20th of October from 7:30 once again right here on BT Sport 2 and also in 4K on our Ultra HD channel. And there's also the same evening a bit earlier on though, Inter up against Southampton. Inter beaten 3-1 by Sparta Prague tonight. Southampton got a draw against Hapoel Beersheva. So that's what you can see in 3 weeks' time. Just to remind you that our highlight show live from London is here and live until 11 o'clock this evening. But there's plenty for us to talk about before we disappear, as Eric Bailly hands his shirt to some of the fans. They're in a generous mood tonight, the Manchester United players. They're in a Europa League mood. But thanks in part to Wayne Rooney's world-class assist that he clearly meant United get the 3 points. They get the victory. We'll hear from Paul Scholes and Michael Owen after the break. And this evening, Fenerbahce also beat Feyenoord by a goal to nil. Emenike with the goal for Fenerbahce, he formerly of West Ham, and you can see there Manchester United 3 points on the board, sitting third. Fenerbahce will be the visitors right here on the 20th of October. Michael Owen, Paul Scholes are alongside me, both still awake, only just about. It was a bit like that at times, wasn't it? It was a tough watch.
Yeah, it wasn't a convincing performance, but they did what they had to do in the end, which was win the game. I think one shot on target probably sums it up. And they did. Zorya did give United a couple of problems on the break, really. And a couple of chances they could have scored a goal themselves, but again they've won the game, which is the most important thing. And there were some little bits of good play. Quality probably in the final third wasn't what you would normally associate with this team, but they've won the game. That's the most important thing.
And before kick-off, we sat here and Michael said, 3 or 4 games without a goal for Ibrahimovic. If that was me playing up front, I'd start to get worried. Obviously, it doesn't bother him, though, does it? He's had to wait for another goal for United, and he gets one.
Yeah, it was... His movement disappoints me a little bit. I think he just stands a lot. When crosses come in, he stands on that back post, and because of his height, he probably gets away with it a lot of the time. Wayne Rooney pulled off into a nice position. He's in the 6-yard box. You're always going. If anything drops, you're always there. I get that.
Such strange goalkeeping, though. By the time the header comes in, the goalkeeper's in the back of the net.
That's it. He'd almost slipped, but the strength and size of Ibrahimovic there just comes into play, and it was a simple goal for him, really. But there was no movement from him. I was expecting him to make a dart to the near post, Rooney to pull back or something. But he just tends to just stand at the back post and wait for the ball to
and then score.
Well, as it happened. But there was a few crosses coming in tonight, and he stayed in the same position all the time. And as I say, you look a fool when you're actually criticising him when he scores a goal. But that one was very fortunate off Rooney's feet. Rooney couldn't get his feet ready quick enough, but in the end it was a lucky goal. OK, well, there has been a bit of movement now from Zlatan because he's headed to where Des is in the tunnel. Let's hear from him right now.
Zlatan, you had to be patient out there. It looked like hard work at times tonight.
Was not an easy game. I mean, we played good, we played well, created some chances, but this is a typical game. You don't score in the beginning, the spaces get smaller, and you have to find a way to score the first one. So when you break through with the first one, there becomes more spaces, and after the goal became more spaces, but we had like 15 minutes on us. But it was a decent game. We won the game. That's what counts after the first loss in Rotterdam against Feyenoord. So it was good to take the 3 points today.
And the result was essential just to keep your position in the group, because it started to get away with you otherwise.
I mean, of course, if you want to go through, you need to win the game, and we won. I think we could do much more. I accept much more from the team, but we're working hard, and against Leicester we did a good game. Today we did a good game. We didn't score as we did against Leicester, but we won. This is good for the confidence, and if we continue like this, step it up a little bit more, and we'll do good.
You've got 6 goals now in 10 games, but as you said yourself just then, you're not feeding on a lot of chances at the moment. You could create more.
I mean, we play as a team, we create as a team, and we are trying, and sometimes you create a lot, sometimes you create less, and important thing is that you create the chances, and then while the chance is coming, you need to be focused and try to score, and today it went in.
Thank you, Zlatan.
Thank you.
Well, we all know, don't we, no matter how many assists strikers get, they always want more. Just put into context for us, though, what it means. 7 goals in Europe for 7 different clubs. I mean, that is a remarkable record to score for 7 different teams in Europe.
Yeah, it's not a bad record, is it? Especially the clubs he's played for as well, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Barcelona, just to name 3 of them, Juventus as well, I think. No, he's a great centre-forward, that's why he's at this club. OK, he might be towards the end of his career, but I think he's still shown his body. He's got the body of a young 25-year-old. I think the way he still.
He's got the tattoos of a 25-year-old.
Yeah, the way he looks, he looks great. He's in great shape, I think, and hopefully there's another 20 goals to come from him this season. So
he wants more assists. He wants more opportunities, and you sort of sensed that as well this evening. Manchester United looked at their worst almost with that final ball into the box, didn't they? Yeah, it was an average game. Let's not beat around the bush. It was pretty poor in many ways. Man United deserved to win, but just deserved to win. Didn't create too many goal-scoring opportunities. And, I mean, these clips that we've got are all very similar. It's losing the ball in central areas, there's crowded, edge of the box, and they did get wide on occasions. Rashford
got wide. Fosu-Mensah got wide when he was on, showed some good pace, but the ball, it broke down a lot in these type of areas, and they just weren't that clinical today. But it was essential. The result was essential tonight. They couldn't afford anything other than a win. So that really is, I mean, it really is the main thing to get that 3 points, because anything other than that today, and it would have been pretty embarrassing. Winning the last 4 games would have been hard, and if Manchester United don't get out of this group, then it would have been embarrassing.
It feels like 2 steps forwards against Leicester, 1 step back tonight a bit, doesn't it?
I'm not sure about that. It wasn't good at Leicester, but it didn't play the same team, did it? I think if it had played the same team with that same continuity, I think...
Same front four, though.
Yeah, but still, I think Herrera was missing it in midfield. Both full-backs changed. I still think if he'd have played the team that played on Saturday, it'd have been a lot better. There's still players coming to the team who haven't had a lot of football, and that's why I was asking before the game for him to just go with the same team, give them some confidence. But as Michael said, the main thing tonight was the result. Obviously, you like to see a performance, you like to see the crowd entertained a little bit, but no, the quality wasn't quite there tonight. Maybe the Europa League is something that they're not that interested in. Looking at the manager, the way the manager was on the side, it looks like something he's passionate about and he wants to win. I think he needs to try and transfer that to the players.
Yeah, he's a man that wants to win every game, isn't he? It's an interesting one, isn't it, for Zorya? Because they come here to Old Trafford, they don't disgrace themselves, they put in a really solid performance, and actually they'll leave here thinking they could have got something out of this. That's testament to how well they did tonight.
Yeah, possibly. I think this is their big chance.
Paulinho.
Yeah, Paulinho's effort, it was a good effort. I'd say it was a comfortable enough save, and he wasn't tested too much, was he, Romero?
Yeah, he should save that. He should be catching that.
Save. I think we could have saved that one, Scalzi. But it was their best attempt, and that's all they had really. They did look dangerous on occasions on the counter-attack. They had a great counter-attack in the first half down this left-hand side. On the whole, United were very comfortable defensively. Didn't really create too much. Probably a 1-0 was actually a fair result overall, and I think everybody in many ways goes home happy. They didn't take a walloping, which they might have expected. You never know. So I think everyone's pretty happy with tonight. OK, well, Jose Mourinho has made his way to the tunnel. He's live right now with Des Kelly, so let's head down there. Des, all yours.
Thanks, Jake. Jose, you got the win tonight, but you had to dig that one out.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult. We had our chances in the first half. We could obviously score and have a different match, but we didn't. And they kept all the time very well organized, with lots of people behind the ball, always with the danger hidden, but ready to do something in counter-attack. So the game was difficult, but it was important to win.
Frustrating for you at times, but as you say, you've got the 3 wins now on the bounce after the 3 defeats, an upturn.
Yeah, 1 week 3 defeats, 1 week 3 victories, but I was not depressed with the 3 defeats, and I'm not in the moon with the 3 victories. So we have a game Sunday, and that's now the most important one.
Were you sure the goal was always going to come, Ibrahimovic's goal? Rooney changed the dynamic a little bit. He played a part in the goal.
Well, since the first minute I was waiting for the goal, but the goal was never arriving. And you never know. You never know what can happen. And to be honest, Romero made a good save with a 0-0 result and before we scored. But obviously, we thought that we could win, and I had on the bench players to help me to change the game. I played 3 of them. I could play others because my bench was full of attacking options, and Wayne gave us a different position, and Martial gave us different speed in a moment where the opposition was getting a bit tired.
Before the kick-off, as the teams were gathering on the pitch, you looked like you were upset by something tactical. Do you know what that was?
Yeah, it was, set pieces organization. They changed that team before the game, and Paul was a bit confused with the changes, and obviously I want my assistants to take care of all the details.
And looking ahead to Stoke, you go to it on the back of a win. Luke Shaw back, is Rooney okay? Clean bill of health for these players?
Let's see tomorrow, but normally yes. Normally we have almost everybody in conditions to play. Obviously, Phil Jones has a long-term injury, but a very difficult match. The truth about Stoke is not where they are in the table. Good manager, good players, good team. So I don't look to the table, I look to their quality, and they are good.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
There you go. Not depressed when they lost 3 on the spin, not in the moon or even over the moon when they win 3 on the bounce. Very sanguine, actually, about the way things are going. And in some ways, you need that approach here, don't you, at Manchester United? Because when you lose, it's hell. When you win, it's heaven. And it's always like that here.
You need that at the top of the game, whether you're a player, whether you're a manager. Wayne Rooney's going through the same thing at the moment. You know, he's got to realise that he's still a top-class player, even though everyone's having a go at him. Lose 3 games, it doesn't mean Jose Mourinho's a bad manager overnight. So while everybody else goes so far and so far up, so far down, you've got to try to stay on a level playing field, which isn't easy, but you have to do it. Otherwise, you'll be like that. You'll have 3 or 4 great games, and then you'll be shocking for a month or 2.
And you would expect him to say that Stoke is a challenge, because Stoke are always a challenge, but they're a team that are really struggling at the moment. This game's live on BT Sport on Sunday morning. And the form that they're in, you would really want Manchester United to put in another Leicester-style performance, wouldn't you, in that game?
Yeah, Stoke at home's normally okay. It's the away game that's normally gives United most problems. Stoke at home, I think, could be quite comfortable. It's the ones after that, not worrying, but tougher fixtures. Liverpool look like a team to me that can win the league. I think it's a big test for United to go there and try and get something out of the game. I think they'd take a draw now, and then the Fenerbahce game. Again, they're normally quite a good European pedigree, normally a good side, and then the Chelsea game. So we'll have to wait and see. I think they'll come through this week.
Yeah.
Good week, 3 wins, hopefully, and then look to the Liverpool game.
And that's quite a shout you've thrown in there. Liverpool look like they can win the league.
They do to me. I was a little bit worried about them defensively, but you have to say that the attacking quality they're showing at the minute, they look like they're going to score goals against anybody.
Big challenge for United.
I'll leave Scholesy to continue drooling over Liverpool.
Whoa! I hope they don't.
Who would have thought it?
Said they might
Manchester United legend backs Liverpool for the title.
Whoa!
There's your-
Backed them.
There's your back page headline for tomorrow. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your company. I don't think you were drooling.
No.
was
Backing
kidding.
them, aren't they?
All right. Well, Lindsay, on that bombshell, it's over to you in the studio for the highlight show. Not the greatest evening at Old Trafford we've ever seen, but the crucial thing is Manchester United get the points.